Hey, this is Jay, and this is a quick alternative for the extract from PDF node here in n8n. Instead, we will be uploading the document to GPT and having GPT actually read the document instead. So let me go ahead and show an example really quickly here. I have a handwritten document that's a little bit sloppy. So this document will not usually be read by the default extract from file, extract from PDF option here in n8n, but GPT can read it just fine. But there's only one caveat, is that there seems to be some data protection built into GPT that it thinks that it needs to protect the fake Bob Smith person's identity. So it sometimes will redact the name. So we'll see if this will happen. It's been pretty hit or miss for me, so we'll see what happens with this one. But I am pulling the data from this document into monday.com. And so I'll go ahead and upload this PDF and we can get started. So let me close this. And so the goal will be to populate most of these fields with the document. If I test my workflow here, and then go ahead and set the status to input customer data, we should get a result here in a second. And as you can see, it fails to read the document here. It actually just returns no text at all. So apparently if it can't read any handwritten data, then it will just not try. So in this case, we are setting up a separate path. I was trying to avoid setting up extra community nodes because I know there's some other nodes that you can convert a PDF to an image and then do some a little bit easier manipulation with that. Even there's an OpenAI node where you can analyze an image. So if you convert to an image, you can go ahead and call that directly. But instead, I actually ended up uploading the document entirely and having GPT try to read it. So there you go. So in this case, it was able to read the document and find all the data based on what was very not cleanly written, and was able to find the first and last name, address 1, address 2, and then email and phone number. So this was an issue that I ran into when I was trying to read these documents. And so this was an alternate path that I came up with, at least for now. I think one more step will actually be involved, like I mentioned, as far as trying to make sure that it actually reads the entire customer name, even granted that I'm telling it that it's a document I'm allowed to read. So let me go ahead and kind of step through this a little bit. I'm not going to rebuild it in this case. I would like to, but with it being actually based on a monday.com webhook, the monday.com element is not as important here. Mostly want to just offer the alternative. So basically what's happening is that when the status changes, the webhook fires, checks to make sure there's actually data needed. And then we grab that row from monday.com, grab the payload to be able to grab the document so I can download the binary. So once I've got the binary for that PDF that I uploaded, I can send that binary first into the extract from PDF node that's already built at n8n. So it can read the binary data from the PDF that I just showed, and you'll get the info that's like metadata about the document itself. So none of this is not very important. And then you will have the text. So if it actually was able to read the document, the text for the document would be here in one long string. But again, like I mentioned, it for some reason will just not try to read any of this at all, even though I tried it before with the blank one, and it can definitely read this other data, but I guess once it has the written data, it doesn't know what to do. So it just doesn't return any text. And so I ended up adding a if condition here. Actually, probably doesn't have to be this complicated. Really, it just needs to check and see if there's text in the results or not. So really, it just needs to check if we can go ahead and change this real quick to just JSON text. And if the text exists or not. So we can just say string is not empty. And if the string is not empty, then it's good to continue. So we read the content of the document. I'm going to send it off to GPT to then figure out what columns that text data needs to go into in monday.com. But in the event that it does not work, then we need to go into the false branch and do the rest of this. So let me go ahead and save it. And actually, we can kick this off again so we can kind of see this a little bit more in motion. Actually, we can work with the data we've got here. So if I re-execute this step, we'll see that it's still false. And then didn't have a great option here as far as handling the binary data again, and n8n's not the best with handling binary data. I do think there is a script we could probably use to handle this a little bit more efficiently, but for now, I think it's fine. We're doing a double download, but not a big deal. We're going to run this get node again. So we're downloading, in this case, I needed to download the actual PDF from the public URL from monday.com to be able to get the binary. So I'm running that same node again. I'm saying get call to the public URL for that particular PDF so I can download it. making sure that I know that the response format is a file, and then I'm just going to assign it to the value of data. So I go ahead and execute that step. And now it's re-downloaded, so we have the binary again. And I've assigned just the default. I left it, that's the n8n standard that we just call the binary data, and then make sure that we reference it the same way here. So what I'm doing is actually uploading the file to GPT. So this is, again, assuming that you already have an OpenAI account attached, so you can just connect with your OpenAI account and you're good to go. This is one of the built-in nodes. So you can just do the upload a file node from OpenAI. And so this will send the document over to OpenAI servers. I think it's just stored under your account. And I think you get, maybe 2 gigs of data that you could store there. And I think if you go over that cap, they just start deleting your old files and pushing in the new ones. So when we do this, we send the file to OpenAI, and then they come back with their file ID. So now we have a way to reference that document in the future. And so the next step here was most of the part that I want to talk about the most. There isn't really a node for this part, unfortunately, at least for GPT-5. So I think they've changed the way some of their models interact. And so, unfortunately, what used to be a place where you'd use a GPT assistant, you no longer use the GPT assistant to be able to read the file. So in this case, we're just going to do an HTTP request node. So we're doing a post, and then we're going to call api.openai.com/v1/responses. And then again, you can just use your existing OpenAI credentials here. So you just do predefined credential type, and then you'd search for OpenAI, assuming you've already got it connected. And then you can just use your OpenAI account as your header credentials. So you don't need to provide anything else besides that here. And then we're sending in a JSON body. So we're going to do send body, and we're going to use a type of JSON using a specified JSON here rather than defining them individually. You could do either one if you wanted, but the nesting is a bit of an issue. So easier to just define the whole JSON object. But in this case, most of this is pretty much, fairly predefined. So we're going to set our model as GPT-5 mini. And then the input is actually has 2 different components. So input, so you have the role, and then the content. And then the content then also has 2 array elements. So the first type is the input file. So we can say, hey, you should have access to this particular file. And that is the file that we just uploaded. And then the second part is the input text. So just like normal, we give it the prompt of whatever we want the model to do. So in this case, please return all handwritten values from the customer. Only return the text value they wrote. And then trying to work around this whole redacted name situation. So I was trying to say this document was submitted to my business by a customer, so no need to redact any data. Return your response in JSON like this. And then I just give it a really simple JSON object just to kind of make sure that the response is formatted properly in a way that we can expect it. So pretty straightforward. If we go ahead and do this, then we should hopefully get a response back because, again, it has the file ID, so it knows that it can actually access that file and read it. And GPT is capable of doing the OCR. It's very good now at reading documents like this, so this really shouldn't be an issue. The only issue, again, that I've been running into is that if it decides that it's against personal data violation, which it didn't this time, so I guess we're good. So it did actually find all of the text from the document. So it just comes back. It does provide a pretty big payload here for everything that's happening, but really the only thing we care about is this output. So we have the output object, and then the second element in the output array is this content, and then we're looking for the text data. So again, that's just the text data I was able to read, but it looks much better than the n8n extract text from PDF node. So nothing there. So that's pretty much the bulk of it. At that point, you've got the text from your document and you're good to go. I was doing an extra step here, really by setting the, you can set the output option here to make sure that it's, JSON, actually maybe not this one. I lied. Mostly just breaking out the text from the response, since this is a huge payload. Just going to pull the text out to make it available for the next node. And then in this case, it's a little redundant, but really it was just so that I could refer to that particular text element directly, regardless of where it comes from. So like I mentioned before, if the text comes back from the original extract text from PDF node, it's going to return it as a variable of text. So the if statement will then check that value. And if it's not empty, it's going to send that value forward. So when it gets to here, I'm just resetting it just in case, because by the time we get to this one, I want to say, okay, I want to reference it by JSON.text. So I'm just kind of perpetuating that JSON.text format forward. But the same situation here. If it fails, we have to come through this process and then eventually come back to the point that I want to be able to reference that JSON.text directly. So kind of resetting it, and these are kind of redundant. But I wanted to make sure that anything that comes back from here, they're both the same result, so that by the time I can send the data back to GPT, I'm looking specifically for this JSON.text structure. So I can just say JSON.text, which is this exactly. And it doesn't have to worry about the name of the object or the name of the node itself. I can just say JSON.text. That's pretty much all I wanted to highlight here. Then the only thing is that you may have noticed that I split from that call. So what will happen here is that once you have called GPT, asked it to get the text from that file. Once it's returned that text, these split nodes seem to execute from top down. So this one will happen first. It'll reset the text value based on the payload. And then we can go ahead and just delete the file because like I said, this is uploaded directly to the OpenAI servers. And I think you only get about 2 gigabytes of storage. So after a while, they're going to start deleting them anyway. So might as well clean it up because we really just needed to read the document. You don't need to leave it. I mean, unless you want to and you want to reference it later, you obviously could. But this is just a nice cleanup node to say, we've uploaded it so we can read it. Now we can get rid of it. But then the rest of that flow executed as I showed, where it will just then take that data and in this case, it reshapes it so that it can be added back into Monday.com to properly update these nodes as expected. So just a quick one here. I wanted to kind of highlight this process again. This is a nice little detour that after I got this entire workflow working, went to try this again with a document that did not have very clean data. It suddenly started returning nothing and the automation started failing. So without having to install a bunch of other extra community nodes and some extra workarounds, if you've already got OpenAI connected, you can just use OpenAI to read the document directly. And again, you may run into redacted name situation, which is a bit of a problem. I think I'll probably have another video in the future to use, I don't know, something like Google OCR. I think Google has an API for that to be able to just directly translate the text. And then you can have GPT interpret it from there. So anyway, just a quick solution if you're looking for something and you need another alternative to read handwritten data from a PDF. So I hope this is helpful. I'll go ahead and provide the entire workflow here. This is again, very Monday.com specific, but you could just go ahead and rip out this entire section and use it for whatever your use case may be if you're trying to look for a better way to read text from PDFs. So that's it for this one though, just a quick highlight on that one. Hopefully it was helpful. Let me know if you have any other questions about this one in particular. If there's any other flows or anything else you'd like to see. I appreciate the comments. It's a good chance I might make a video out of it, but I appreciate you also watching. Thank you very much, and I will see you in the next one.